Home builders are telling us something big about the housing market. And today we're going to do a deep dive into exactly what they are telling us. And to be clear, I trust what no one says, but I do trust what I can see with my own eyes, and I do trust the data, the numbers, which support it. Because anybody can tell you a story, and anybody can create content that will scare you to death, but the numbers don't lie. If you're new to the channel, welcome aboard. My name is Chris Igo. If you're a returning viewer, I appreciate your participation in our journey. And if you've been watching for a while, you know that I'm a boots on the ground operator of a high performance real estate team. And I am blessed to help so many folks, people just like you, who find me on YouTube and then hire me to help them find their dream home and dream lifestyle down here in the great state of Florida. And I have done a lot of content talking about the new construction and the new development that exists within South Palm Beach County. And while I've covered some communities that are a little bit north of me, like Westlake, I've primarily focused on the communities that are hyper-local to me and the new developments by GL Homes. And I've done lots of content in the past talking about how the housing market is a lagging indicator of economic conditions, because home prices typically are the last domino to fall during a negative economic cycle, unlike the stock market, which trades and prices in bad news in real time. But one of the leading indicators that I want to have my finger on the pulse of is the demand for new construction. Because if the demand for new construction dips or falls off a cliff, then you can absolutely expect that builders are going to offer significant incentives in order to move their product. And they'll do all types of things in order to stimulate demand. And they'll throw in upgrades galore, and they'll throw in everything but the kitchen sink. And to be clear, that's just a funny expression. They'll absolutely throw in the kitchen sink. But more importantly, they will create financial incentives in order to stimulate buyers to purchase their homes, to purchase their inventory, which, if demand has fallen off the cliff, must be removed from their books, because builders are not in the business of losing money, and they would much rather cut the pinky to save the arm if they suspect they're in for a major loss, or if they suspect that they are going to be financially challenged by economic conditions. Which is why it's critical to work with someone who understands the hyperlocal market that you are shopping in order to advocate and negotiate for you the right way. Because within other markets outside of Florida, builders are offering incentives galore, and they are reducing prices and making very easy terms and buying down mortgage interest rates in order to stimulate the buyers to purchase their inventory that they are terrified they are going to take a loss on. But none of that is happening here but it's absolutely something critical for me to pay attention to and always be aware of. And way back in November, when GL was starting to develop Lotus Palm in Boca Raton, and if you remember, back in November, the housing market looked a lot different. There was a heck of a lot more fear and uncertainty within the market. And if you've been watching any of my housing market updates, and you look at November and December numbers, you'll see that trend was confirmed. And because I happen to do a lot of business in some of these new developments that GL is building out, and I'm friends with a lot of the sales folks that work there, I am constantly pounding them for more information, of course, in a very nice way. But I want to know, are you offering incentives? Is demand falling off a cliff? Are people still buying homes? And while the supply of new listings and the supply of active inventory on the market in my market has continued to uptick, which is not so great for sellers, but certainly very good for buyers because they've got all the leverage and they can negotiate better deals, that is simply untrue as far as new construction is concerned within South Palm Beach County. And if you've been watching for a while, you know that I've talked about the fact that certain markets are more insulated than others, and that Broward and Palm Beach County are insulated by the fact there is a massive scarcity of resource. There is no more land to develop. We're bordered by the ocean and the Everglades, and in totality, in both counties, there are only 2.2 square miles of potential land which is zoned the right way for development. But the problem with that land is that it's not parceled neatly and nicely together. It's little slivers here and there all over the place. And it's totally undesirable for new construction. And let me clarify that. It's totally undesirable for developing a large neighborhood. And while there are opportunities to buy older homes in prime locations, knock them down and build your dream home, those opportunities exist, but they're pricey, but they're one-off spec homes, certainly not available at scale, which brings me back to the fact that there is a scarcity of land within most markets in South Florida, in Boca Raton, in Delray Beach, and in Boynton Beach. But over the last quarter, I've helped many folks buy and build their dream home in the new communities which are being developed. But as of right now, new construction opportunities are limited to 2 new developments, both of which are GL Homes communities, which is Lotus Palm located in West Boca Raton, and Valencia Grande. But Valencia Grande is unique in the fact that it is an active adult luxury community. And to be abundantly clear, Lotus Palm is also a luxury community. It's just not 55 plus. And both of these communities offer the country club lifestyle without the country club fees. So there are no insane financial obligations for mandatory memberships. Everything is included within your HOA fee. But this is not intended to be a sales pitch for either one of these communities. However, if you are interested in learning more about either of them, please contact me directly. The point of this video is talk about what home builders are telling us about the housing market. And what GL has told us since November when I made the video talking about the pressure that they might be under by lack of demand has been answered by systematic price increases and long waiting lists in order to buy a home, which if you remember back to the pandemic craziness, they had instituted lotteries. You had to literally win a lottery in order to potentially have the chance to select the lot you want and build your dream home. And many folks did not win that lottery. Many folks got frustrated and tired and decided not to buy a home. And to be clear, while GL has not reinstituted a lottery yet, they often drop the possibility of it being reinstated in Lotus Palm. And I really hope they don't reinstate a lottery because the lottery system sucks. Which brings me to something that happened just yesterday. Someone just like you who found me on YouTube and wanted to buy new construction reached out and hired me to help them do so. And to be totally transparent, we went outside my wheelhouse. We went about 45 minutes north of the area that I'm hyper-focused on. We went into Palm Beach Gardens, into Toll Brothers, 55 plus active adult resort style living in Regency at Avenir. So a big shout out to Jim and Joanne. Because truthfully, if they had not reached out, they wouldn't have opened my eyes to an opportunity that I didn't even know existed. And again, to be transparent, I knew it existed. I just hadn't been there yet, and I hadn't experienced it, and I hadn't laid eyes on it myself. So you can expect that I will do a video soon showcasing what it's like to live in this incredible community. Because I was blown away by the development and all of the new development that's happening in that market. And while the sales staff at Toll Brothers was extremely nice, and special shout out to Kathy, and she told me exactly what demand looked like and how long their waiting list is, words are nice, but I want to see data. What I saw firsthand was a price increase instituted yesterday, which we happened to be in front of, so my clients got a better deal. But the trend is not your friend if you're thinking about buying in some of these new communities. But because this community is a little bit further north and there is more land to develop in that region, home prices are more affordable, which is also true of Westlake, but Westlake is even more remote. But honestly, Palm Beach Gardens is not that bad. And I was shocked to learn that the prices within this community, which are on the uptick, were significantly less than what it would cost for a similar home in my market. But the homes, the amenities, the lifestyle were just as good, if not better. But demand for new construction is worsening because most buyers these days are far less interested in buying an older home and having to gut it. They would much rather buy a brand new turnkey product, which takes us to headline news on a national level talking about home builders this week. Home builder stocks are trying to tell us something about the U.S. housing market. And having been a stockbroker for damn near 20 years, I know that stock prices instantly price in good and bad news and are leading indicators as far as the sector is concerned. And the article goes on to say that on paper, the U.S. housing market remains constrained. And last week, mortgage purchase applications were down 35% on a year-over-year basis, as spiked mortgage rates continued to keep some buyers on the sideline, while the number of homes for sale in March was 20% below levels seen in March of 2022. Because no homeowner wants to swap mortgage rates from under 3% to something in the 6+ range. But a constrained national housing market doesn't necessarily equal a crashing housing market, at least according to Wall Street, which has helped to push up the share prices of major home builders like D.R. Horton and Lennar, which are trading at all-time highs. And that's because what I just shared before is true, which is that the new home market has gained an advantage over the existing home market because there's not a lot of inventory, and many sellers are refusing to budge on price, which gives home builders an edge if they are able to offer discounts or incentives like mortgage rate buydowns. And unlike the last housing crash, these builders are working with enormous profit margins, which allow them to incentivize the market and offer massive discounts. They have the budgets for massive incentives, and they can spread those incentives around to where it's most effective. And while there are lots of folks that are touting the massive amount of cancellations that are happening within the new construction market, the national home builder cancellation rate, as you can see on this chart, is down to 10.8%, which is exactly where it was in 2019, and a massive drop from last quarter and a massive drop from the recent past when it was north on a national level of 20%. It's a massive drop from the 24.6% cancellation rate that existed in October of last year. And to be clear, that was talking about the national housing market. Obviously, the local housing market dynamics are different, but home builders are telling us something big about the housing market, which is that new builds locally are in high demand and home prices to live in these new construction communities are going higher up until they're not. Now, I hope you found this content valuable, and if you did, please subscribe to the channel, give it a thumbs up, share it with a friend, be on the lookout because I will be doing an immersive tour coming soon of Valencia Grand, Lotus Palm, and Regency and Avenir. And if you're thinking about buying or selling, please reach out to me directly because we would love to help. And check out my next video because I suspect you will love it a lot. And until next time,